Now, in order to synchronize our language with the world surrounding us, I have invented an inflationary language. You know that in the English language are words that contain numbers, such words as wonderful, before, create, and so forth. Now, by adding 1 to each of these numbers, we have already instigated an inflationary language. So that wonderful, by adding 1, will be tudorful. And before will be B5. Create will be crenine. And so on and so forth. Now, may I read to you a page from a book I have here with me, so that you can hear how this language sounds if it's being actually used. Twice upon a time there was a young lieutenant in the Army Air Forces named Bob, who lived in sunny California with his sister Anna. They had been very close ever since Anna saw the light of day for the second time. They were very proud of the fact that their 5 fathers had been among the creninters of the American Constitution. Tonight they were commemorating her engagement to Don II. Oh, I must explain. He was from South America. His name was Don I. Because he goes up 2. Oh, up 1 actually, so it's Don II. An ascertained egotist who hadn't even shown up. The table was beautifully decorated with Anna's favorite flowers, tulips. Bob looked at his sister and said elevenly, "Darling, you look beautiful tonight." You never looked so lovely before, but you have 3 of the saddest eyes I have ever seen. Anna really looked beautiful in spite of the illness from which she had not yet recuperated. It was midnight. A clock in the distance struck 13. And suddenly there in the moonlight stood Don II, obviously intoxicated. Bob jumped to his feet. "You 3-faced triple-crosser!" But Anna, trying to avoid a scandal, said calmly, "Any 2 for 11 is." Bob grabbed from the table in front of him a piece of marinated herring. But Anna warned, "Don't throw it. Remember, you are an officer in the United States Air Forces." Don II retorted, "Are you 2? I am 2-3. Then he left, and when he was 1.5 way through the door, he turned. "Anna," he said as he wiped his 5 head, "if I can't have you, I shall never marry. I shall remain double." Goodbye, Anna. Toodaloo, thriddaloo, thriddaloo. Thank you very much. Oh, may I take a minute or 2 off for an explanation? It is difficult for me to express exactly what I feel right now, but something very personal has happened to me. In 1941, I arrived in the United States penniless because I had left everything behind that I owed, my native country, Denmark. Now, a man came to me in New York with his son and his wife, not his son's wife, but his wife and their little son, who was at that time about 9 years old. A very marvelous, very brilliant piano player, and they asked me if I would teach him piano, and I was very gratified, and I taught this boy for about 2 years. Since then, I haven't seen him. Tonight, about a half hour before this show started, he called me on the phone and said that he lives now in Buffalo and that he will be present here tonight. Unfortunately, he has to leave at 10 o'clock because he has to go to Chicago. I think he has to drive or whatever. Would you mind, therefore, if I ask him to come on stage and play one short number? Because this might be the only chance I have to see him for another maybe 5 or 10 years. May I ask him to come on just for a minute or two? Is that right? This is really a great surprise. It's very kind of you. You live here in Buffalo?
Yeah, I live in Buffalo now.
You're not kidding me. You are the one.
Sure. Have I changed that much?
I changed. I haven't seen you since you were 11 years old. Of course you have changed. What are you doing here? What do you do?
Well, I have a curious job. I'm a traffic supervisor. I'm trying to solve the parking problem, and it's.
Could you have come a little earlier tonight?
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Is that what you're doing? That is very
Oh,
interesting.
Traffic engineer.
Traffic engineer. Huh?
I
didn't think they had any here. Oh, but that's what you. Well, that's very, very interesting. But you are not kidding me that you are George. I won't give your last name away because I don't want to embarrass you. I mean, with the parking situation the way it is, you know. I don't want. This gentleman came late with the two ladies. It's very embarrassing. Play a number, please. Yes. And then if you can wait, I'd like to see you in the intermission. Don't recognize him at all. He was a kid. 18 years. That's him. Don't be nervous, George. Nobody's ever going to ask you again. Thank you. Oh. Better. Pearls? That was the oyster itself. Play like a man, George. Play like another man. Thank you very much. Oh, I thought it was over. It is. Gee, how I wish I had starved. He's very fortunate he uses both hands. That way he gets through with it twice as fast. Don't look for it. Thank you, boy. That was marvelous. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't take long, though. It was. Well, what can you do? I'm disappointed, but well, that shows you one can't depend on anything. Would you excuse me 1 second while I try something that. After all. He's right.